This team is going to take on the identity of this city, all right? And this city's been down, and it found a way to get up, all right? It's found a way to overcome adversity, all right? And so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right, and on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this is my 4th time doing this. I missed it last year. Welcome to the Detroit Lions 2021 season wrap up. Thank you guys for being on the Detroit Lions Syndicate as well. This is my first live stream over there, so I'm doing it simultaneously on both channels. But we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, what our thoughts of the season were, and then we'll look just a wee bit ahead to the off season. So before we get this thing started, we got everybody in the Detroit Lions community knows Mr. Detroit Lions Talk with MicroMike. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Grid? What's going on, guys? Welcome to this epic stream here. I'm going to talk about this season, man, and it was a crazy season, to say the least.
Absolutely, and we got a surprise guest, Raw Detroit. What's up, man?
What's up, baby? Keeping it raw.
Hey, like you always do. Shout out to the other fellas as well. Crimson Shadow is in the building. Kenneth, what's going on, everybody? So let's get this thing started, man. Let's go straight into our new head coach, Dan Campbell. We saw from the opening, he said he was going to bite kneecaps and do all of that stuff. The Lions wind up going 3-13-1 with the extra game, very similar to the 2019 season, going 3-12-1, but we wind up going 3-13-1. I think we went 3-3 over like the last 6 games, something like that. So we get some momentum as we conclude the season. So first of all, Raw Detroit, what are your thoughts, man, on head coach Dan Campbell?
Man, everything that Dan Campbell said that we were going to do as a team, it actually came to fruition. He said that we were going to be a team that scraps, fights, bite kneecaps, and all that type of stuff. And Detroit Lions, man, they were that type of team this year, man. You know, with a lot of people, bar none, a lot of people getting injuries and stuff like that. Akuda going down. Jerry Jacobs going down. Ragnow. Just everybody went down. And for them to be able to get the product to play out on the field, the guys that they got to perform at a high level is awesome, man. And I love what I'm seeing from this regime. I'm loving it.
Yeah, you know, they had a lot of work to do, Raw Detroit, a lot of work to do. We had 5 draft picks after Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn basically tore down the franchise, man. They did the best that they could with those 5 and got some real studs out of there, man, even the undrafted free agents as well. So they did a lot with a little, and I think that goes a lot. MicroMike, I know you kind of doing 2 things at once, man, but real quick, what do you think of head coach Dan Campbell, man?
He's everything that I was hoping he would become, and that's amazing. Yes, he's officially gone. Lynn is gone, by the way, Crimson. He's exactly what I wanted him to be. We've been looking for a coach that can install a physicality to Detroit. We're talking about the NFC North, where you're dealing with teams like the Chicago Bears that will punch you in the face, strong defense, Minnesota Vikings, same thing, and, of course, the Green Bay Packers, who's been leading this division ever since Adam and Eve walked the earth. So to have a guy that can come in here and literally take it to teams is something that we haven't seen. We've been a finesse football team. Now we're changing into a physical football team. Yes, we only have 3 wins. But if you watch the games, it's a different feel. Like if you look at a Matt Patricia 3-win year, you say that was terrible, just awful. You look at a Dan Campbell, it's like, oh my God, you could see the growth of this team and the physicality that they're taking from their head coach, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, man, my thoughts are Dan Campbell. I said this a while ago that we needed a person that used to play. And what makes it even better, Dan Campbell used to play here. And even though he was on injured reserve, he mentally had to go through the motions of that 0-16 season. And when he came here, we've been saying this, whether you live in Detroit, you used to live in Detroit, you in Michigan, you know what it feels like to be a Lions fan. You know, everything he said at the beginning, I loved it. And I said, this is going to be the guy. We got Mark Orem in the building. What's up, Mark Orem?
Hey, how's it going, bro?
Good to see you feeling better, my man.
Yes, I am, man. Finally. Yeah, I was sick for a bit there. It ran through my family. We're getting better. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can see you look like you dropped a few too, man. So I know it was tough. I saw that in yesterday's.
I'm not sure where I dropped them though.
Yeah, you can see it all in your face.
Hopefully in the toilet, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
The face is a lot slimmer than it was.
It's written all over your face.
Well, Mark, listen, you slid in at the perfect time, man. We're talking about Dan Campbell and
Yes,
your first season overall impressions of head coach Dan Campbell.
Wow, what a season. You know, nobody really had him on the radar. It seemed like at the beginning of the year, you know, we got him over here. It was like one of those, you know, okay, who's this guy? Players, coach, obviously. You know, I think there's a lot of positive we can say about Dan Campbell this year. And there's some negatives, obviously, too. Obviously, you know, not winning games. You know, I think he needs to do a little bit of head coaching 101. He needs to really, no, honestly, like,
No, I agree. I agree.
yeah, like bring somebody in, talk to an old head, man, like one of those older head coaches that maybe that was around the organization, or just get in touch with just some guys and, you know, just like learn the game a little bit more. I think his clock management needs a little bit of work. This and that needs some work. You know what I mean? He's got the team unity down to a pat. Like, he is a motivator. That is for sure. But it was a different year. I'm happy we got him right now, because I think he's going to bring players here and coaches that want to come here. I think that's truly going to happen. I think the culture was good. I think building the winning culture still needs work, obviously, if you only win 3 games. But I love that they won the last 3 home games. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty impressive for this staff to do that with the devoid of talent that we kind of had. So there's a lot of positives to what Dan Campbell brought, but there is some negatives to it too. But I think all in all, I think this guy is up. I think the ladder goes up on this one. So
yeah, I definitely think so too, Mark. Trending up as well. And Crimson Shadow brings up, Lynn tried to make Goff something he wasn't. Speaking of former OC Anthony Lynn, who's no longer with the team. Yeah. The same problem with Jim Lombardi had with Stafford. And that brings me to the next topic, which is the guy that they brought in to quarterback this team, Jared Goff. Now, Mark, I know we're going to start with you, man, because we were very hard on Jared Goff during the offseason, and it was warranted, man. It really was. The first 10, 12 games of the season, he was looking like, who is this guy? But last 6, ever since really Josh Reynolds kind of came to be, he's kind of stepped up. I think he had a really great QB rating or completion rating, something like that, over the last couple of games. So overall, what are your thoughts about Jared Goff after his first season as a Detroit Lion?
Wow, the ups and downs were big too with Jared Goff. You guys know how I felt. We brought him in. I was not very happy. I was not happy at all. Losing number 9 too kind of hurt me a little bit there. But it was night and day, his first half and his second half. You know, they made some changes with the passing attack coordinator. Anthony Lynn getting thrown up to the booth, kind of like not doing anything anymore. And Dan Campbell taking over the play calling, and Jared Goff turned into this like aggressive, kind of like this quarterback with his chest out. He got a big boost of confidence. You've seen it in the second half, and it just came out of really nowhere.
Yeah,
you know, and it was just, you know, I don't want to say I'm completely all in on Jared Goff. I know his contract says that we kind of have to say that we're kind of all in a way. I know he will be the quarterback next year. I think he will be for the 2022 season. But I need to see this continue. Like, I don't want him to come in next year and just do the same thing 4, 5, 6 games, be like this meek, weak, kind of like quarterback with no confidence. And then all of a sudden, maybe they make a couple changes again, and then he turns into this confident guy. I want consistency and then some. So he has to be the guy. He has to still prove, I think, a lot to a lot of Lions fans. And we heard too some things from Herman Moore before saying that, he possibly could have lost a little bit of guys in the locker room. I don't know how true that is. He knows more than us, obviously.
Right.
But he's going to have to do a lot of proving to just not only the city, this fan base, to his coaches and his teammates.
Yeah, and you know what, Mark? I agree with you. And we were on with Herman 3-4 weeks ago, maybe somewhere around there. I think it was after maybe early December. And he stepped up since then. And I'll get to TA in a minute. So Jared Goff, ever since he wound up getting hurt against the Steelers and went 0 for 0, no interceptions, no touchdowns. Did not play against the Browns the following week. And then he came out and played. Did he play against the Bears? I think he did. Yeah. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions against the Vikings. Our first win of the season, 3-1. Broncos. Did he play? He played against the Broncos. I guess he did. I thought he didn't, but 1-1.
I don't believe so.
I don't think he did either. They got him on here.
Oh, okay, maybe he did it.
I think he was out. I think he was out, but I know he has a fumble and an interception. I guess my point is he played, like you said, Mark, it's night and day. And I think that a lot of things had to contribute to that. I personally believe that it was because you leave a place like Malibu, you leave a team, and I know you got to find this for number 9, man. And number 9 was plucked out of this team and placed in that one. He was plucked out of that team and placed in this one. And we all know the storm that was this team. So I feel like once Josh Reynolds came, he got a little more confident. My thing, I'm just going to chuck it up to, yes, he has all those faults, Mark, but I think he had to get comfortable, man. He had to get acquainted with the city, with the team. I think mentally it was a lot on Jared Goff, man, to just be broadsided by that and then dumped into the cesspool that is the Detroit Lions. So I think he's going to be better next year. TA, what do you think about quarterback Jared Goff, man?
Well, initially my thoughts on Jared Goff was at the beginning of the season, man. He was not playing consistent. Like Mark said, I would just want to piggyback off what Orm said for a minute. He was not being consistent, man. And a lot of us fans was ragging on him. Now everybody is lifting him up as the savior now. And I want to see this kid continue to play well. I'm definitely going to give him his flowers. He has been playing tremendously better, man. And I definitely love that. But at the same time, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket and say Jared Goff is the man in Detroit. I kind of want to hold some of that back. But right now, I love what Jared Goff is doing. He's being consistent. He's able to hit his targets. He has a newfound love with Amon-Ra St. Brown, being able to hit him because at the beginning of the season, you didn't know what to expect out of Amon-Ra St. Brown because he wasn't being targeted that much. But then once injuries started happening and then guys started getting cut off the roster, it opened it up for Amon-Ra St. Brown to go ahead and do his thing. And look what he done. He ended up breaking some records for the Lions. So the thing about Jared Goff is that I love that towards the end of the season, he started playing better and he learned from his mistakes at the beginning of the season. I think he was just over anxious out there on the field, and he was trying to prove to the Detroit community that he could be a serviceable quarterback in Detroit. And that's what I think that he was really trying to do. And now we understand what Jared Goff brings to the table, but at the same time, we still want to see what he does in 2022. Is he going to still be consistent? Is he going to play once he gets the weapons in Detroit? Will he be effective? That's the biggest things that a lot of us fans want to know. Will he still be effective out on the field when he gets the targets?
I agree. And Mike, I know you, like I said, 2 things one time, man. What do you think of quarterback Jared Goff?
2 seasons this year for Jared Goff. The first season, the first half was cheeks.
Straight cheeks.
He was looking like the brown crud between the cheeks, man. It was
no. Man, you're not talking about the Dingleberry, man. Stop,
Oh
man.
man, it was hanging around, man.
Lord
It
have
was
mercy.
going left to right. And
No,
I was a little bit worried.
these guys.
But I must say, this guy has absolutely turned it around. It was like he got struck by lightning or something, and is just a different person. What's good about what he has been doing since week 12 is his stats are top 5 in many of the NFL quarterback ratings and top 10 in nearly all statistics. This guy he put up some ridiculous number from QBR, from touchdowns to interception ratios. It was just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, it was crazy because before that, on 4th down, he'd throw it away. He didn't seem like he was confident. Like there was something going on. But all of a sudden now he's confident. He's got the swag. He's not throwing the interceptions. He's finding the open targets. He's not throwing the interceptions. Jared Gofford is actually not throwing interceptions. And so he's not putting up the 400 yards like a former quarterback. But he's also not throwing 2-3 interceptions a game like former quarterbacks. And you feel confident. Like when we were down by a touchdown at the end of the game, I was like, Jared Goff can come back, man. He's not going to turn the ball over like former quarterback. And he did.
Yeah. Mark, like I said, Mark, I know you know my issues with Mr. Stafford,
Hey,
and
I know.
we'll see what happens. He's got everything he needs coming up this week. He's won his first division title, host a home playoff game, something he's never done.
And you got to put an asterisk by that, man.
But he's got an absolute case of the turnoveritis right now, though.
He does.
That's insane,
bad.
He does, man.
I don't know what's going on with him. We've seen it in the past, man, and they kind of fell back asswards into the
he's throwing as much interceptions as completions over there. Right
yeah, he had a tough time.
That whole Rams team seems to be kind of going. They're up and down, man. Offensively, defensively, they're doing this. Yeah. They can't decide whether they want to come out and play good football in the first, second half, third quarter. They don't even know what they're doing sometimes. It's weird watching that team play, man, the Rams. They're so good, but they're so bad at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to ask you guys here. I was watching the Rams game last night, and I did a big sigh of relief saying, man, I remember throwing all these interceptions. It would frustrate me. Were you guys like, when I was watching the Lions game, I said, I'm not worried about that. When I watched the Rams game, I'm like, man, oh, man, those Rams fans, now you know what it feels like to be a Lions fan.
Yes, they're turning on them. They are.
They did it early in the season, though. After, I think, that 49er game, that's when they really kind of started with them pitchforks, man.
100%.
Yeah, calling for his head. So, listen, he's got everything he wants. He wanted to play in the big game. He is. He wanted to win the division. He is. He wanted to get a home playoff game. He is. He's playing a 10-plus win opponent, something somebody said he's never beat. I think it was Crimson, said he's never beat a 10-win team.
Wow.
So
this is the first Monday night playoff game too, right?
Yes. Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up, Mark,
us, by the way, NFL.
They straight up played us. We cannot pick until at least 24, 25, 24, somewhere around there. So we will not pick until 5 spots after the earliest, which was 19. So I think
how did they do that though, man?
They did it on purpose.
What do you mean?
Man, because they don't want us to get no target, man. They don't want us to get no weapon.
So Mark, as you start to get eliminated, that dictates number 19 through 32.
Talk about the draft.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So when the Saturday games, those two that happened Saturday, the loser of that first game at 4:15 or 4:30, they will have the 19th pick. And then the loser of the 8:30 game gets the 20th pick. And then it repeats on Sunday. And then the loser of Arizona, LA gets the 24th pick, 24, 25, somewhere around there.
Wow.
So the picks are based on when you lost. So it all depends on how they schedule wild card weekend. And then the same thing applies next week for a divisional round. The loser of in order of the games televised. So if you're out at 4:00, then you get a higher pick than the team that's out at 8.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
we get screwed by the NFL like always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the
And
further
if
they
you don't
go,
believe it, hey, if you don't believe it, you go on YouTube, man. TPS did a video. The top 10 teams that get screwed over. You good?
And
Who's
we're
number
one of
one?
them.
The good old Detroit Lions.
yeah, we were number one. We were number
We were
one.
number
over there.
one.
Yeah.
Ain't no Lions fans over there.
Now check this out. I wanted to tell y'all this. We've seen Dan Campbell's aggressiveness. Y'all gonna trip out at this. 4th down conversions. How many, Mark, do you think? Because this was big. You know, everybody's analytics, 4th down, the analytics say go for it. Just off the top of the head, how many times do you think the Detroit Lions went for it on 4th down? Put it in the chat as well. Without looking, without cheating.
How
Mark,
many
just
times
give me.
do I think? Like,
Yeah, just off the dome. How many times do you think they went for it on 4th down?
oh my, like I don't know. Let's say they went for it. I'll say they did 35 times.
Okay.
I'll say 39 times.
Okay.
I'll say 40.
41.
41.
41.
Oh, I know they
41
were like-
times.
Okay. I'll take it.
They completed.
Weren't they 50%?
They completed 50%.
Yeah. Okay. I did.
Yep.
50% of 4th down conversions. Unbelievable, man.
That's
I think
unreal, man.
You want to
Hey,
know why,
Campbell,
though,
the
they do
gambler.
that? We had an offensive
Gambler.
line that could allow it.
Yeah.
Speaking of offensive line, Taylor Decker, man, I don't know what our situation is with him, but I'm not impressed. I know a lot of y'all like him, but he is the false starting machine. If they actually called false starts in the National Football League, he would have the crown. Because
No,
this guy
just change it from false start to Taylor Decker.
to Taylor Decker.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. But overall,
He got hurt too, didn't he?
he did. He wound up in street clothes at the end of the game. So we got to talk about the defense, the offense. Offense was letting us down early on. Aaron Glenn switched it up, man. I don't know what he did to get these guys going, but around week 4 or 5, we started picking up steam, and then it was our offense that let us down. And I don't know about y'all, fellas, but it seems like we both was kind of clicking at the end. If we would have just had maybe a little more time, maybe we could have put a string of wins together. But what do you think overall? We'll start with Noble, Raw Detroit. What do you think of the team as a whole, man? Offense, defense, special teams.
Well, man, you know, with the offense, you know what I'm saying? When we first came into the season, the offense, you know, you thought they were going to play lights out football. And you're like, yeah, man, we finally got our offensive line. We finally got everything that we need. And then you see what the defense is doing. And the defense was like horrible at the beginning. And you're thinking like, man, what type of team is this going to be? Because you rarely see the Lions be good on defense and offense at the same time. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're a Lion fan, you know this. Sometimes we're good on defense, and then other times we're good on offense. And it was like, man, what type of team? And then the offense started out really, really decent. And then, in the beginning, and the defense was crap. And then next thing you know, the defense takes off and the offense regressed. We couldn't even throw the ball down the field, man. It was like crazy. I couldn't understand why we were dinking and dunking the ball. And even on our dinking and dunking on the ball, we were missing targets then. So I'm like, what happened from that point, from that selling point to this point right now? What happened that the defense started making plays and the offense couldn't score in the red zone and couldn't do anything right? I just could not understand it.
Yeah, we had a tough time. Mark, what you think about the whole team put together, man?
Whole team put together, just very inconsistent, inconsistent. Like we talked about earlier with Jared Goff, he was inconsistent, and then he played well in the second half. And then the defense, with what Aaron Glenn had, man, hats off to Aaron Glenn. He had some. I don't want to call them nobodies, man, but he had some guys back there that really had no business being on that field, and he did some things with these guys, especially the young secondary. Losing Okudah, losing Owarriye later on, not having a very good safety room, not a great pass rush, but they turned Charles Harris into a pretty decent player in that right system. So it's just up and down roller coaster. Inconsistency. There's just so many words I can use to describe this team as a whole. I can't wait to see this team kind of like build a defense and see what Aaron Glenn can do, because I'm I'm excited for offense because I think offensively right now we're a couple pieces away. Obviously, we need a couple wideouts. I think Jared Goff looks like he could be the guy for at least 2022. You don't have to touch the goal line. You don't have to touch the running back room. So the offense I think is good. A couple more pieces, and then defensively, I think we're still a little bit more away. Safety, corner. I think we need some more pass rushers, obviously, more linebackers. I think the defense is a little bit farther away, but I'm actually very excited about Aaron Glenn and what he can do with defense once he gets some weapons. So inconsistency is the word I like to use.
And I'm glad you brought up the defense, Mark, because that's going to transition. Just came off the wire, was trying to pull up the Detroit Lions information, and I saw this. The Detroit Lions claim Juju Hughes off waivers. So 14 minutes ago from John McCarran, I think. He's a Sports Illustrated guy, so I have no idea who this guy is and why it matters, but that is quite interesting. But so my thing is, we're going to go. Somebody asked about the draft, and Mark, you brought up pass rushers, and we got. Oh, yes. I think we all agree that defense will be the first pick, whether it's a pass rusher or a safety. Now I know we got some guys. I don't know where our defense wound up ending the season. My guess is bottom 5, if not bottom 3. We still allowed a lot of points. We let 51 points get put up on us week 17. And we got a lot of work to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're past that. So speaking of that, as we roll into the offseason, and we know the defense needs to be addressed, what are we feeling? Mark, I know I'll start with Mike since he's on camera now. Mike, where would you like to go with this? You know what? Let's just do the first round. What would you like to see for the Detroit Lions first round draft picks?
What would I like to see, or what do I think they're going to do? What do you think?
You can give me both. You can give me both.
Okay. What I would like to see is the Lions select Kyle Hamilton at the 5th pick as they trade down from 2 to 5. That's what I would like to see. And then pick up some extra first or extra second round picks or another first round pick. What do I think they're going to do? Select Kayvon Thibodeau with the 2nd pick in the draft. I think that's who we're selecting. And in the late first round, pick number 24, as the Rams will lose to the Cardinals. Thank you. The Detroit Lions will select. What I want them to do is select Nakobe Dean. Now, linebacker.
Really?
What do I think they're going to do? Select Nakobe Dean with that pick. And in the second round with the first selection, I want them to select Drake London. And I think they're going to select Drake London.
Okay, so that's a lot. Mike gave us a lot. Okay, Raw Detroit. What you think, man? Well, you can give us one or the other or both.
Man, this is man. You put me on the spot, Grid.
Come on, man. This your time, baby. This your time to shine. Raw Detroit, baby. Subscribe to the channel. Dropping draft prospects every day.
Man, okay. When it comes to the Kayvon Thibodeau, Kyle Hamilton, Aiden Hutchinson war, because that's what it is. When you really look at it, all the Detroit fans can agree and agree with me in the chat. I know you guys want Kyle Hamilton. A lot of people love Kyle Hamilton. We've been talking about this for a very, very long time. And yes, we do want Kyle Hamilton because that's one player that mostly all Detroit Lion fans agree about is Kyle Hamilton. No, would you take this guy? Now, me, I would do something that's uncharacteristic, and I would draft Kyle Hamilton if I was the GM at number 2. And I know some people are saying, "Man, are you crazy, man? You don't take a safety over a edge rusher or a quarterback or something like that." Look, man, if this dude is a game changer, I'm taking him. I feel like Kyle Hamilton is that good where he can come in on the back end of the defense and be that dude right away. I'm talking about make an impact in his rookie season. We don't have that guy that is long and rangy like a Kyle Hamilton at 6'4", 220 pounds, who will be an enforcer back there. We don't have that. We need that. And we know that safety is one of our biggest needs. But on the other end, we know that we also need pass rush, and we don't know what we're going to do. I guess we're probably going to end up releasing Trey Flowers. But at the same time, you have to make the hard decision on whether or not Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau is the guy. And more than likely, like Mike said, the Lions will go Kayvon Thibodeau. You know what I'm saying? It's probably something that some people like. They want Kayvon Thibodeau, and some people want Aiden Hutchinson. But at the same time, both players are great in their own right. They do different things. You know, Aiden Hutchinson is good at getting to the quarterback and being effective in the run. Kayvon is definitely a freak of nature, and he can do many things as well. But at the same time, which guy is going to be that dominant force on the Lions at that number 2 pick? And I'm talking about if you're not even trading down, who's going to be that guy that can come in here and really, really get this defense going the way it should be going? Now, I know you guys might be saying, okay, well, I think Kayvon is the guy. Well, to me, I think, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of people say you start from the trenches on to the back. I definitely think that you could go with a Kyle Hamilton because he's the best player in his draft. And you won't go wrong by getting a guy like Kyle Hamilton. But that's what I want. And I know that's not what the Lions want. So it's going to be probably Kayvon Thibodeau. It's going to end up being that pick.
Man, okay, everybody got a lot to say. Mark, what I know who you want. Now, what do you can either do it one. What do you think they're going to do, or both? That's up to you.
Yeah, it just kind of it just all depends on what Jacksonville does here. So
let me bring it back up, Mark. I'll bring it back up.
Yeah,
you want the big board mock draft or just the full order?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, all right.
It doesn't matter. It just all depends on what they do here. I personally don't think they're going to take a defensive end. I know I know Jacksonville has kind of got. I think they've gone defensive line. I think the last 2 out of 3 years. I want to say with Josh Allen, and they went younger before at the defensive end spot. I think they're going to draft a tackle. I think it's going to be Evan Neal. I think that's who they're going to take. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I have a feeling they have to protect their franchise quarterback. So, and you guys know that I'm in love with Kayvon Thibodeau. I absolutely love him. I think he can bring the Micah Parsons effect to the Detroit Lions. I think he's that good. You know, he needs to heal up his ankle a little bit right now, but he is an absolute force coming off the edge, and I think he fits this defense that Aaron Glenn plays right now. I think he's a perfect fit for the Detroit Lions. I like Hutchinson. I love Kyle Hamilton, but I'm stuck on Kayvon Thibodeau big time. I think he's going to be the guy. I think we need a pass rush that we don't have. We don't really have a pass rush. I guarantee you that we are one of the bottom teams in the league in getting to the quarterback. Sorry, guys.
We wound up with 30 sacks, Mark. That's what we wound up. Yeah, 30 sacks.
Not that bad.
We allowed 36.
Yeah, that's not that bad actually then. But I know, Romeo was hurt and all that stuff, and Julian Okwara is an up-and-coming guy that I think too. But I think a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau would absolutely bring some fire to this defense. And then with that second pick, I'm starting to really like Jahan Dotson from the Penn State Nittany Lions, the wide receiver. A little bit of a smaller guy, but he's explosive, runs great routes. He's physical. He's only about 185 pounds though, but he is a guy that I actually like a lot. There we go. We got him going to the Bills at 26.
Right before us. Right now, yeah.
No, thank you.
Jahan. Okay, you're talking about Jahan. Okay.
I
need. He's only 182, 185, but I think he reminds me so much of a more quicker Amon-Ra St. Brown, more explosive. That's he kind of reminds me of his game. I just like him a lot. I don't know if he would be a number 1 per se in this offense, but he's a guy that is going to make plays in the NFL. And I just want a guy that can make plays and get in the end zone.
Now, you can hate me now, Mackenzie said something about Trey Flowers, and I think it was something about his cap hit being $20 million or excess of that. I'm not sure about that. I don't really know off the top of the head. Mike, you got any information? Any thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, so his dead cap hit is $12.853 million. His cap hit is $23.23 million. So if you cut him, you're going to save around $11 million. And currently, he is 11.08% of the whole cap of the Detroit Lions in 2022. So that means he is not going to be a Detroit Lion next year.
He's getting cut.
Yeah, he needs to go. He needs to
Yeah.
go, man. I mean, what has he
Especially
done?
if they take
He's
Thibodeau.
not produced. He's not
Yeah.
produced since he's been here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we just gotta I think we gotta look at it for what it is, man. I think he had a 7.5 sack first season. That was his best season as a Lion. And then after that, it was like, where are you at? What are you doing here? And I made a video about this. I think the last of the patricians, he's gone. And
Right. You hey Grid, you say, where are you at? He's on IR. That's where he's at.
He's on a beach somewhere drinking a Corona, man.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for him to go. And I think so too, that, you know, now Riley Patterson, he's a keeper. You know, I don't know if our kicker gonna have a job when he come off. Yeah, he is definitely a kicker, man. A keeper. He's both. So I think that when it comes to the draft, I think we go defense the first two. I strongly believe that we're going to take an edge rush as well, and then a safety in with that second first round pick. And for me, we were talking about this earlier today about Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, to bring it back to this season. The fact that they didn't miss a lot when it came to this draft. They turned lemons into lemonade. Jerry Jacobs hit it out the park, undrafted. They didn't miss a ton. So imagine what they can do with twice that and 2 first-round picks for the next 2 years. I mean, we're talking about 10 picks this year. We talked about what 9 next year. That's 19. And then out of that, we got 64 players or 4 players out of the top 64 coming out over the next 2 years.
Right.
All of those guys are starters, man. And we're in this thing. So what are you guys expecting? What would you grade Brad Holmes, Mark, his draft of this year after seeing how everybody turned out? What grade would you give Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's draft?
Well, I think he nailed it on Sewell. Levi was a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
He got hurt, and then he just, he couldn't get on a field. And when he got on a field, he didn't do much. I think Aleem McNeil outplayed him. I think he was a good pick. And then we got Derek Barnes kind of thrown into the fire a little bit after they released Jamie Collins there. So he was learning as a 4th round pick. Got some sacks as a linebacker. That's what he was in college. He was a pass rushing kind of linebacker, D lineman at Purdue. So I like that. I like that pick. Jefferson kind of got banged up a little bit. Amon-Ra was a hit out of
shout out to the Dern, man. Shout out to the Dern.
Yeah, shout out Dern. Yeah,
bro, Dern nailed
he nailed that one. Yeah,
man, he broke Calvin Johnson's record, right?
Right.
Everybody's record.
It's
It's
crazy.
one guy in the NFL is not talking about is Amon-Ra St. Brown. He did things in the NFL that nobody has done, and they're not talking about it, man. Breaking Randy Moss's record as a rookie.
Wow.
OBJ's record as a rookie for
they did bring that up.
8 straight catches and over 90 yards. He broke Randy Moss's and OBJ's record for that.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. And he beat Roy Williams' record, Calvin Johnson. He did it all, and no one's really talking about it. So that was a phenomenal pick by B. Holmes, out of the park. So I don't know. All in all, I'm probably going to give him a solid B.
Solid B.
Give him a B. There was a couple misses with Levi. I think too early to really say he's a miss, but he needs to be better. And then, but Sewell was a home run pick. He's going to be our guy for the next 10 plus years. Yeah. So I think it was a great draft by Brad Holmes, and I'm going to give him a solid B.
Okay, before we pass this thing to Mike, check this out. This is a stat that I saw during the broadcast yesterday. St. Brown was under 4 rookie wide receivers. All 4 of those wide receivers were drafted in the 1st round. Yep. He was the 5th going into yesterday's game. Unbelievable for a guy that was drafted in the 4th round. You know what I love about Amon-Ra? He said that he will keep an eye on what the receivers ahead of him are doing because he wants to outdo them. But now it ain't nothing like a dude with a chip on his shoulder, man. Trust me, I know. Now, Mike, what would you give the draft between of 2021?
Let's go through the picks here. Penei Sewell, A+. Knocked it out of the park. Like you said, this guy's going to be on the offensive line for a really long time. Levi and Uzurike, I'm going to give this a C right now. So that knocks the grade down overall a little bit. Aleem McNeil, I'm going to give this one a, for a 3rd round pick, I gotta say B+, man. He's done a really good job. Futu Melifonwu, I think this guy is going to be a really good piece for the Detroit Lions. I think not a lot of people's talking about him. I'm going to give this one an A. If you've seen what he did with Devontae Adams this last game, stride for stride, and he's just a big guy. So I'm really excited for him. Amon-Ra St. Brown, A++++. He's this guy is he's exceeded expectations beyond belief. Everybody talks about Jamar Chase as they should. They talk about Waddle as they should. But hey, you know what? He knows number 3, I think, for the wide receivers, not Smith. Just Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. He's doing a phenomenal job. Derek Barnes, I love the progress that we've seen from him. He was thrown into a bad situation, and he's did really good. And then you look at Jamar Jefferson, who I think is probably a C right now, but we're talking about 7th-round pick. So overall, I say I'm going to give this one a B+ draft. There's a lot of pieces that I feel is going to get some more meaningful playing time, and there's some really foundation players here, and I cannot wait for what they do in this upcoming draft. We got a lot more picks.
A lot more picks, man. Just tells you how much. I mean, they took 5 and flipped it. Now we got 10. Still kind of sick about the whole Trinity Benson thing, but we'll see how that plays out. Noble Sports, Raw Detroit. What would you grade the draft, man, this past season?
Man, I'm going to give it overall. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a B+, and I'm going to hit on some other things that he did well. How about the undrafted guys that he brought in? How all of these guys balled out, from Jerry Jacobs to Craig Reynolds to whatever guy that got called up that was an undrafted guy on this team, how they stepped up and played, man. That is what I'm talking about, man. Those undrafted guys, they play with a chip on their shoulder. And shout out to Brad Holmes for being able to get a guy like Craig Reynolds, who they call Netflix? Mr. Netflix and chill. Yeah, Mr. Netflix and chill. Shout out to him, man, for getting Craig Reynolds, man, because he definitely was a steal as an undrafted running back. And whenever he got the opportunity to get out on the field, he made the most of it. And definitely, man, this guy could definitely be, I'm not going to be kidding you, man. Craig Reynolds could be the starting running back for this team. If DeAndre Swift wasn't here, definitely I would be pushing for Craig Reynolds to be that number 1 guy. So shout out to Brad Holmes for bringing in undrafted guys and giving these guys an opportunity to play, because a lot of times undrafted guys don't get the opportunity. And when those guys got a chance to get out on the field, man, Jerry Jacobs, right before he got hurt, he was out there doing his thing, man. So you love to see the growth of bringing in guys that you never heard of before, come in, get the experience, and go out there and ball out. So shout out to Brad Holmes and the team for bringing in undrafted guys that balled out this season.
Yeah, and I got to give him probably a B+ as well. I like some of the things. I was a little nervous because 5 picks, like, what are you going to do with that? And they were able to, especially that 4th round, man, where they flipped it. I forgot what they gave up, how they made it happen, got Derek Barnes and the stud we know is the Sun God. You know what I mean? So for me, it's a B+. I'm really excited about what the future is going to hold, because we were talking about it, man. And to go back to this season, a lot of y'all know who follow me, this was it for me. Like, if Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn come into this year, I'm no longer here. I'm not. I'm done. Dan Campbell came in and gave me a fresh spirit. And even though we won 3 games, we were in a lot of these games, man. I mean, if a delay of game is called, which the NFL just doesn't call anymore, maybe we get another win. If our kicker is not Santoso, maybe we have another win. You know what I'm saying? All that type of thing, man. So it really came down to a play here, a play there, but that's the game. And that's why we have to not put it in the ref's hands. That's why we have to get those playmakers that TA is talking about, guys that can make an impact right away. So I'm looking forward to the future, man, to see what we are going to do. Speaking of the future, Brad Holmes will get in front of the podium tomorrow. We haven't heard him speak in a long time, and I'm sure he's going to talk about the future as well. So as we go forward, what do y'all think the biggest need for this team is? Mark, what do you think the biggest need that we need to address, whether it's free agency or the draft? What do you think is the biggest need for this team?
I think the biggest need, I still think we need to add to that defense. I still think we need. Obviously, we need some wide receivers, but the secondary is a little bit suspect. It's probably one of our strongest units on defense, but it was also the most decimated. You know, we lost all kinds of guys.
We had Will Harris at cornerback. You know what I mean?
Harris at cornerback,
and he's terrible.
Enough said, right there, man. And then like we lost an undrafted guy in Jerry Jacobs who was balling. We lost him. We lost Okuda. We lost Awarie down the stretch. We lost all kinds of guys. We don't have any good safeties. We don't know what's going to happen with Tracy Walker.
So you're saying Tracy Walker's not good? That's what you're saying?
No. I like Tracy Walker. Okay. I just don't think he's a great playmaker, though. I really don't. I don't want to give him the bag and just say, that's it, man.
Yeah. You don't need the bag.
Because I think he's a good football player. He's a good tackler. He's out there. But it just always seems he doesn't make enough plays for me. But
hey, guys, let's put it out there.
Yeah.
Who wants Tracy Walker to come back?
Before we do that, Detroit, you were talking about giving somebody the bag. How about your guy, Mark Kenny Galladay? He got that bag, and he didn't get.
I'm glad he was gone, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying you got the Giants, you got the
Taylor Decker got more touchdowns than Kenny Galladay.
He laid an egg. He laid an egg in New York, man.
Same with the Giants' first-round pick, Darius Toney. 0 touchdowns.
Wow.
You know, there's some cheeks over there, bro.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, you know what?
Mike Valenti can't talk, bro.
Joe Judge is still hanging around for somehow. Yeah. I don't know how.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I think we need to add back to us.
Yeah.
Though, I think we need to add to that safety room. I think we need another safety. Even though I want Thibodeau, I wouldn't be mad at a Kyle Hamilton pick. I really wouldn't, but we definitely need to do it either free agency or the draft. And we have to get a couple.
Yeah. Secondary. I think okay, Mike, what do you think the biggest need is, man, for the team?
I'm not there's a lot of giant needs, but when I look at free agency and the draft, there's one position that is not as good as the rest, and that's linebacker. There is not many linebackers in the draft that I can say is a game changer, and then free agency is cheeks as well. So, in my opinion, they got to come out with a linebacker because you can find safeties. There's safeties in this draft. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of wide receivers in the draft and free agency. But linebacker just seems like the position right now that there's just a few. So we got to get a good linebacker, whether it be Lloyd, whether it be Dean, or we could be in a position where, you know, we're looking nearly the same as this year.
Yeah. Well, speaking of safety and secondary, Diggs had a really bad injury yesterday.
Really bad.
A dislocated ankle and a broken tibia, if I'm not mistaken. So, they popped his ankle back in place before he got carted out, and he was visibly distraught, tears coming down his eyes. Just real brief on him. He was up for a contract, didn't get the one he wanted. He was still up for one, so he wound up taking out some insurance on himself or somehow because he didn't have the blanket of a contract. So, man, shout out to Quandre Diggs, man.
Yeah.
The safety we should have never got rid of, to tell you the truth.
I'm still mad about that, bro.
Yeah, but you can thank the unemployed.
Worst trade.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what they did, man. So I'm real proud of this team as, you know, Mark, got to give it up to you, bro. You said 3 wins. You've been saying it. Mike, you said 3 wins.
I said 5.
You said 5.
4 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I said 3 to 6. 3 to 6 wins.
I said 6, and I was probably the furthest off. So,
yeah,
it is what it is. Noble Sports, I mean, Raw Detroit, what is your biggest need for the Detroit Lions? What do you think?
Well, when it comes to the biggest need, I already know what it is. It's safety, man. You know what I'm saying? We talk about it so much, you know what I'm saying? We talk about Will Harris, we talk about Tracy Walker, and the biggest thing is, you know, do you know what I'm saying, as a fan, do you guys want to bring back Tracy Walker? Now, yeah, Tracy lit it up. He had a lot of tackles this season. He made some plays. He made a play against Green Bay and got an interception. But just looking at his whole body of work since he's been in Detroit, would you allow Tracy Walker to walk, or would you want him to come back? Is it dependent on what type of deal he's looking for? what would you do with Tracy Walker? You know what I mean? Because with me, I'm saying like, look, if I can double up on safeties in the draft, I would do it. But depending on what type of deal that Walker's looking for, I would bring him back. So if he's
signing him.
So what you guys think about that?
So I think you hit it on the head. I would bring him back for if the bag is not too high. I would. But like I said, I don't think he was stellar. I think he was my biggest thing about Tracy is he's been here for a while, so I think he would be like he could lead the young guys. I mean, we don't know what's happened with Okudah. He gonna be in his third year. Y'all know how I feel about Jeff Okudah. I heard in the press conference today that he was sticking around the team. And that he asked Dan Campbell, could he still be around? So I'm hoping to see this guy resurrect his career, man, next year. But to answer your question, I would re-sign him for the right price.
There's a lot of issues on this team regarding players that should be re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
He's solid. I'm re-signing him.
Yeah, I think he's solid, man, but I'm just not giving him a lot of money. I think he's a good tackling safety, but I just don't think he's a playmaker, and I'm not handing him a bunch of money.
But I don't think
I'm not going to do that either, because then if some other team's going to hand him $1 billion, well, guess what? We get a third-round compensatory pick for him. So that's the way I always look at it. Is you got to look at but I don't think he's gonna command that.
And I don't think this regime is gonna do that. We're not gonna pass out $90 million to a dude with 7.5 sacks. That's not what we're gonna do. And then he winds up playing 7.5 games, man. It's tough, man, because you wait every year and you want to see some results, and it was tough. But is it just me, or does it seem like talking about a 0-17 season was so long ago? Like, it was a time that we thought that was going to happen. And we laughed about it every week. Yeah, we laughed about it every week. So bad. They were, but it seems like Amon-Ra St. Brown, that touchdown, which was his first of the season, gave us our first win, changed the entire trajectory of this team, man. And I'm like, I love what they did. Now, I'll say this as we do one final topic. What do you have to say, Mark, to the people that were upset that we won yesterday?
Grow up. Seriously, man. We're locked in at number 2. Don't cry about having the number 2 overall pick. Everybody. Right. Okay. Jacksonville did their thing. The Colts. Yeah, man. You want to get mad at anybody? Get mad at the Colts. Get mad. Right. They couldn't beat Jacksonville Jaguar. They got mollywopped. Okay. So, and we did our thing.
By the worst team in the league.
Yeah. So,
who doesn't have a head coach?
There's no need to be mad as a Lions fan. There's no need to be mad about having the 1 or a number 2 pick. It's irrelevant. Grow up. We have the 2nd overall pick. We're going to be okay. We have a ton of picks, double-digit picks, it looks like.
Yes.
You have to win. Hey, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes are trying to build a winning culture. I had my theory on what was going on early in the year, and I still kind of think the tanking was a little bit involved, a little bit.
Little suspect in there, little suspect.
Just the way they set up this whole year from the beginning, how this wide receiver room was going to look, bringing in a quarterback like Jared Goff that was regressing and nobody liked. I was like, man, what are they doing? I was like, they're doing something here, man. But then they kind of like played better down the stretch. It was like, we have the number 2 pick. Let's all just embrace it. Where we're going to be okay. Things are looking upwards, I think, for the Detroit Lions. I hope, man. And I'm not trying to drink the Kool-Aid either, because I don't drink it at all.
Mark, that's true, bro. I don't even think you got any in the house, man.
I got nothing. I got
you and Antonio Hightower be at the Kool-Aid at the bar,
man, and we're drinking with straws. I just want to see improvement. Don't be mad that we got the number 2 pick, guys. We're trying to build a winning culture here. Your only way to build it is by winning.
Yeah. And I just say this. Why would you be – first of all, you play to win the game. Shout out to Mr. Herman Edwards. Also, losing is for losers. I don't understand that. You can't lose to win. That doesn't make any sense to me. And last but not least, guess who our last 2 second overall picks were? A first ballot Hall of Famer and an absolute nightmare defensive lineman who's still playing, by the way, and at a somewhat high level. So and we didn't even have the coaching staff that we have now. So I don't know if those guys are coming out, but hey, Thibodeau, he got potential. Hutchinson, he has potential. Your guy, Hamilton, he got potential. So yeah. I think that these guys, I don't understand how a fan base can root for losing and then get mad when they do. So if the Lions lose next season, what are you mad for? You wanted them to lose, right? So I don't understand. And it's not where you pick, it's how you pick. We've seen this before. Yeah. Jamarcus Russell, all of this stuff, bro, straight nightmare. So this regime has shown me that it looks like they know what they're doing. Now they got some quality picks, and they can trade up, they can trade down, they can do whatever. So I say if you can't be a Lions fan, a true Lions fan, or any fan of any team hoping for a loss, because it's an oxymoron to me. So that's just my thoughts. Mike, what do you got for the people saying that they're upset that the Lions won yesterday? We beat the Packers. Come on, man.
You play to win the game. Playoffs.
Hello.
Playoffs. We're just trying to win a game.
Practice.
We talking about practice. We talking about practice, man. Hey, we know them all. They are who we thought they were. We let them off.
Man, I just don't, man.
They are who we thought they were.
I don't understand, man. Winning is so much better than losing. God, I hate losing. Like, losing sucks.
It does.
Who cares? Did Micah Parsons get selected with the first pick? Did Penei Sewell get selected with the first pick? Did Jamar Chase get selected with the first pick? Did Jamar Jefferson? No, he's a seventh-round pick. Not that great. Did Justin Jefferson get selected with the first pick? Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can go and go and go.
Did Justin Herbert get selected?
No. Folks.
I feel sorry for him, too.
Folks. It's the draft. You need to have someone that knows how to draft players. You could have the first pick in every draft. You could be Matt Millen and still suck. You got to have a GM that can find picks, and if you got a good one, that can find one the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and undrafted. Who cares where you pick? Just pick the right guy.
Winners play to win, losers lose, man. That's it. Now, Raw Detroit, what you got for the people, man, that said they're mad that we beat the Packers?
Well, you got to look at it like this, man. Like you said, man, we're going out there to win a football game. Every Sunday, you should be thinking about winning a football game and not losing the game, but winning the game. And like Mike said, it doesn't matter what place you get picked in. It just matters if you produce out on the field on Sundays. Are you going to be a producer once you get into the NFL? I don't care what round you go in. Can you bring it on Sundays? That's all we need to know. It doesn't matter if you're number one. It doesn't matter if you're number two. Are you going to bring it? And you see that we picked Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round, and he bringing it. Bringing it.
He done brought it.
All. Yeah, that's all you need to. So that's all you need to know as a fan is that whenever you're drafting, make sure you do your homework on the player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's going to be pros and cons to every player. There's no player that's coming into the NFL draft. Get this, guys, that's going to be perfect. There is no player that's going to be perfect and do every single thing right. No, it's not.
Khalil Hodge.
And then the narrative. I want to say something to you people that think that that the media is always right on everything. I know it's a narrative being pushed out there saying that there's no quarterbacks in this draft. You don't know if there's any quarterbacks in this draft until these guys play on Sunday. None of these guys have suited up in the NFL yet, so you got to give them their opportunity to play. Everybody is saying these guys are trash. Oh, he's trash. I don't want him. He's trash. He's trash. You don't know. He ain't never played in the NFL. He never put a jersey on before in the NFL. Give these guys the opportunity to see what they can do. Look at this draft class that we just had that just passed. Everybody was high on the quarterback. Who's the top quarterback out of that draft class? Mac Jones. Nobody even Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. Nobody even wanted Mac Jones. And then he goes, Mac Jones goes to the right situation with the Patriots. So guys, don't get down on the quarterbacks. Don't listen to the media all the time telling you that there is no quarterbacks in this draft. Do the homework for yourself. Go look at the kid. Go study the film. Whatever you got to do to see how these quarterbacks really get down. Give these guys the opportunity, man. They deserve that. They're human just like we are human, and they deserve the correct judgment, man.
Hey, we appreciate y'all being here for the 2021 season wrap up. We're gonna wrap this thing up. I got one question that I got for all of y'all though. We'll leave Mark to last. Raw Detroit, where will the Detroit Lions pick for Matthew Stafford wind up being? Currently, it can't be any higher than 24. Where will the end result be? What do you think?
It might be 27.
27. Okay,
yeah,
so
I'm gonna go with 27.
He gets put out not this weekend, but next weekend in the divisional round. He goes home
against Green Bay. Yeah, nobody's escaping the frozen tundra in Green Bay.
I think the lowest seed goes to Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. So if they win, then they go play the others. So they might meet up in the conference game, possibly.
Right.
So so go ahead, Roddy.
Because I like the Cardinals. You know, I rock with the Cardinals, and I don't think that the Cardinals are ready, man. The Cardinals are pretenders, man. They're not contenders. And I think that Stafford might end up winning that game, man. I hope that I'm wrong, but the way that the Cardinals have been playing, they're inconsistent on defense, and they can't stop the run. They just gave up 190 yards to Rashard Penny. That's kind of scary, man.
So he gets to the divisional round, and then he loses.
And then he loses to his boy Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, all right. Forms for him. Where do we pick for your? Well, since Mike is busy, I'll go.
I'm not busy.
We will pick 20. He goes home Monday. We will have the 24th pick, 25th, whichever one. And so we will get the second and the 25th pick. Kyler Murray, D. Hopkins will be back. J.J. Watt should be back. We sack Stafford, pick him off. I say we because I'm a team of whoever plays him. So I'm a fan of that team. And we pick that. We take that pick. So Orms Forum. Where do we pick? Where will Matthew Stafford's pick be?
Well, I do think they're going to squeak by the Cardinals.
Okay.
I do think they're going to get that. Stafford's going to get that first playoff win. I don't know if it's going to be on his shoulders, but it's kind of two teams that are kind of running into the wall right now with the Cardinals and the Rams. But it's in LA, so I'm going to pick the Rams. Okay. So I don't know, pick 27. I don't know, 28.
So does he go home in the divisional round? Because I think they play the highest seed, or I think the Packers play the lowest seed. So
the Packers will play the lowest seed. So they will end up playing it'll either be Dallas or San Francisco, right?
Yeah. Or
like that.
Philly. If Philly wins.
Philly's in there with Tampa.
Yeah, Philly's in there with Tampa.
Yeah, so
he gets to the divisional round.
He gets to the second round at least. Okay. Yes.
All right. So right now it's just me saying that. Okay, MicroMike, as we wrap this thing up, man. Where does Matthew Stafford's pick come from? Looking crazy.
Looking like a crazy person.
There's an X factor that's going to happen. A guy who Stafford loves throwing the football to. He loves giving touchdowns, and that's J.J. Watt. He will return, as he loves throwing pick six to J.J. Watt. The Arizona Cardinals will send them home. And with the 24th pick, the Detroit Lions select Nakobe Dean, linebacker, Georgia.
All right, Mike, there you go. Well, you heard it first from Mike. So me and Mike is split. Me and Mike say he goes home this weekend. Mark and Ross says next weekend. So we'll see. But we appreciate you guys, man, coming in. I will be live in about maybe 30 minutes for the college playoff national game. We do that, whatever you call it, today. And Mark, is good to see you back, man. Hope you and the family are well, my friend.
Yes, thank you.
Definitely, Mark.
Absolutely. So any last words, gentlemen? Whoever, doesn't matter.
Hello.
Yeah, just it's over. Huh? All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. On to the off season, and hopefully this time next year we're talking about our playoff game that we'll have or something. At least not the second pick in the draft. So, all right, y'all. See you next time.
And again,
because the truth is. And again.